Hi, everybody. Welcome to Am I the Asshole podcast. I'm Danny Vega. Follow me on Twitter. I'm just kidding, Sarah.
Ooh.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I hurt myself yesterday.
Doing what?
Nothing interesting. I bonked myself at my friend's show. I was hosting a stand-up show, and there was this piece of wood on top of a wood block, also known as Bushwick.
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
It was pitch black out because we were on a rooftop doing stand-up, and I just walked full speed into this thing, and I scuffed my leg, and it's not interesting at all, but there's nothing really happening, so this is what I got right now.
I mean, that's about as exciting as it gets these days, so I can't fault you for that.
It is. I did want to shout out to Dorley, who was the person who broke the news to me about Keith and the girl, and I called her a rando, and I was like, that's not very nice. Yeah, I was like, that's not very nice. I called a listener to the show a rando. They're not rando at all. That's rude.
Do you know?
You know?
Oh, that's hilarious. Yes, apologies for being called a rando.
Yeah, AITA for calling my listener a rando. I say YTA, ITA. No one's a rando here. We're all family. You're all invited to my wedding. Another shout out to my buddy Sean. I retweeted his tweet. I really liked it. I put it over on the AITA Pod Twitter. He wrote, "People who don't want to see their partners do better and discover their passions outside of giving them attention don't have partners, they have prisoners."
Ooh, harsh, but fair.
Yeah, well, he was telling me that he's in this relationship where he wanted to be in a band, and his SO was kind of like, oh, bands are for losers. That's loser shit, being in a band.
Oof. Okay.
And so I thought the tweet, spoke to a thing, it's, you gotta support passions and hobbies and things like that.
That's fair. I have had a bad run-in with musicians.
You have trauma on this front?
Not even, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's trauma, but just now I tend to avoid musicians. But I also tend to avoid most people.
You do. You are quite avoidant. I mean, but Sarah, if you were in a relationship with a musician, you wouldn't be like, bands are for losers. You'd be like, please treat me nicely.
I mean, yeah, if you started dating someone knowing their passion was music, you can't then later be like, nah, actually, that sucks.
Well, I think you got to be flexible no matter what their passion is, I mean, passion is a wonderful thing when it emerges. You have to, support your partner in it. I mean,
what if the passion was collecting Funko Pops?
Okay, there's one exception to the rule. No Funko Pops. I'm seeing, it's so funny because we did that situation, and I'm starting to see a lot of stuff about Funko Pops. There's a lot of people
I've
who
seen
hate
some
them.
ads. I think Facebook or whoever was listening to us.
Stay out of the feed, Funko. We don't
Creepy.
need your vinyl bullshit. Watch me get a freaking. They're like, hey, we see you have TikTok fans. We'll pay you $4 per post to promote Funko Pops, and watch me shift, people. I will do it. I love Funko, seriously, I'm interested. Let me know.
This is what I'm saying. You're gonna start getting ads for them now.
I know, right? I know. Well, I was mocking myself because of my tattoo transition.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot about that for a second.
You give me positive attention or money, and you just watch my integrity just fold into nothing. So speaking of randos, this is a legit rando.
Great.
Okay, get this, Sarah. I've been making these dumb signs because there's no joy in the world. I don't know why. I have a printer, so I've been making these stupid signs with jokes on them, and I've been posting them on my little Insta stories. And a rando, a true blue rando.
A true blue.
A true 100% rando, not from concentrate. Laugh emojis. Okay, she laughed emojis the story. I go, thank you. So I responded to her. I said, thank you. Hope your core is going great.
Cool.
She responds, sorry, that emoji was an accident, but haha, it was funny.
What?
Why?
That's a lie.
Why?
That's dumb as fuck.
See, that's interesting because that's what Hannah said. She goes, she's lying. She meant to do the emoji, And now she's like backtracking. So she's like negging me. But I read it as she's socially inept and is just being mean. And it hurt my feelings. I like that laugh emoji. I was having a moment of joy and she robbed me of it.
The thing is, I don't really know because it's like she backtracked but still gave it to you at the end of the day.
Well, it felt like a false give. It felt like she was being like, sorry, that was an accident, but haha, it was funny. Like, I don't want to be so... Because, like, imagine she just goes, sorry, that was an accident. That would be, like, sociopathic.
I mean, that would be pretty mean. That would be like high school or middle school girl level of mean. Which is basically sociopathic.
So, where's your money? Is this a botched flirt, or... is this a social ineptitude, or is she just weird and she actually did do it on accident, but then upon re-seeing it, thought it was funny?
I kind of just think that, like, she thought she was commenting into the void and felt kind of weird when it became almost personal.
Well, imagine DMing someone and they are personally affected by it. Imagine you're literally direct messaging. How detached are people getting?
I mean, yes, 100%. I feel like people do that stuff to me too. They like comment. People do that to celebrities too. They'll like say, I mean, and what this girl said was actually nice. It was a laughing emoji on your joke. But like people will comment horrible things on celebrities' pictures. And then when the celebrity will comment back, then they're like, oh, it's like, no. You said what you said. You said your laugh emoji. You don't get to take it back.
You know,
but I have no idea. This is just fucking weird.
I mean, I do agree with you that I'm a celebrity.
There we
I
go.
see you there. I got to tell you something, Sarah. I was on my other podcast. I was editing it, and by the way, the Goat Biography podcast. Give it a listen if you like biographies and me joking with my friends Lucas and Ronnie. So, Sarah, I kind of riffed this thing about this thing that you did, and I got to call you on it.
What did I do?
All right. Well, we were recording. We weren't recording. We were at your house. We were hanging out. I was explaining the recorder, and then your roomie comes in, and you go. And I'd already met your roomie, so this added insult to the injury, and you forgot. And then you go, "Oh, hey, whatever your roommate's name is. This is my podcast co-host, Danny."
Okay, what's the problem?
I felt a little negged by that. I thought, I would say you're my friend. Is that? But maybe
we are definitely friends.
I think we're friends.
My full sentence was like, "Hey, this is my podcast co-host Danny. He came to drop off some stuff," and I said that so as to be like, I wouldn't just have someone come over and chill without running it by you first in Corona times.
I see.
But I totally see what you mean, and I'm sorry for slighting you. We were friends first.
Thank you for the apology. There was a context here. There was a quarantext here, and I acknowledge the quarantext.
Now I gotta go listen to this episode. Like, damn, what shit did these guys who don't even know me talk about me?
I was just like, I hate Sarah. She might be a celebrity, but I fucking hate her. She's a rando.
There we go.
Big ups to our new patrons, Paige and Adam. Actually gonna really briefly announce a new Patreon thing we're doing, which is pretty cool. It's a rolling call-in show, which might not be the best name. I'm rolling on a hill constantly as you call. No.
I call it like a cameo.
A cameo. Yeah. It's so the concept is we used to do a call-in show and a bunch of people would call in one day, but now you can just at any time ask to do a call-in. If something is burning with you, you just ask to do a call-in and we'll schedule you in. And so in a sense, the call-in show never stops. And so that's exciting, and a big ups to the new Judge Judy's. And now it's time for some Guess the Verdict. Sarah, hit me with it.
AITA for getting mad at my husband for telling our son where he was going.
What? AITA for getting mad at my husband for telling my son where he was going? What the fuck? How does this play out? Hey, son, you're going to the store. Oh, how dare you? How dare you? He doesn't want to go to the store. He wants to go to the bank. I mean, what the? I'm going to go. God damn it. I'm going to go. He's being controlling. He's sending somewhere bad. All right. I'm going to say not the asshole, and the dad is.
Yes.
Yes, baby!
I had to choose this one because I was like, what the fuck could this possibly be getting at? Here's basically the deal. OP's mother-in-law sucks. Hated OP. OP's husband stood up for her, and then the mother-in-law responded by disowning him. And the mother-in-law has never even met her own grandkids. It's that bad. However, the husband went to his mom's beach house for her birthday, and the son asks where he's going, and the husband said, I'm going to my mom's house. It was very weird. They were like, I'm going to my mom's house, but not your grandma. And so OP got mad. Top comment was NTA, basically said, I can smell the dysfunction through the screen here. Your husband has put you in a position where your family life must take a back seat to his mother's drama, and he spent years trying to straddle the fence. Time for him to hop off one way or the other, NTA.
Good God. And here's a fun fact if you're wondering what dysfunction smells like. Funko Pops.
Ha!
Would I be the asshole for taking my cut?
What? Your
I
cut of
know,
what?
right? I saw this and I knew this could be the one that brought back my throne, my guess the verdict throne.
Taking my cut. Okay, oh my God. The thing is, I can't even like Miss Cleo my way into this shit because it's so vague. I mean, my instinct is NTA. I'll go with ESH.
Going with ESH, which is wrong. Got her, people. This could be my day. Now, here's the situation. This is a dad posting, and for his daughter's birthday, he always gets her scratch-offs. She won $500, and he plans on taking around half of it because, quote, she would waste it anyway.
Damn, my dad would just call it a dad tax and go, and that would be it. That would be it.
And grab the whole thing?
Oh, yeah. No, half.
Half. Okay. Well, top Reddit comment, not locked writes YTA. I can see why she doesn't trust you.
Ouch. All right. AITA for not tipping a very rude waitress.
Oh boy. How rude was she is going to be what this hinges on. I mean, did she say a slur? Did she do something horrible? Did she kill the family with the tiny forks that come with the weird tea or whatever? I don't know. How could you be an asshole? I'm gonna play it common sense. I'm gonna say YTA.
Ooh, I gotcha.
You got me.
How rude was she? Well, rude as fuck. As soon as OP and his girlfriend sit down, she's like, can you guys eat and go in 20 minutes? I have tables waiting. And then she pretty much proceeds to like harass them multiple times, ask them if they were done. So they did, in fact, finish in 20 minutes. Also, they're in Canada, where servers do rely on tips, but I still felt that it was mentioning because it was not the US. Top verdict, no assholes here. I'm also Canadian and wouldn't have tipped that waitress, but I can see why your girlfriend is upset.
Wow, that was a veritable like jungle of things. I did not expect that to go no assholes here.
Me either. But I think
so it's
I think it
1-1.
makes sense.
I've missed 2. This is it. If you get this, you win. AITA for eating my roommate's food.
Oh shit. Okay. It's one of two things. It's either like this person is clearly a monster, or the roommate's out of town, the food was going bad, they're in the middle of a famine, and something wild like that.
Do, 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 do.
What if I go... I'm gonna go not the asshole.
Not the asshole is wrong.
Damn it.
It's a tie, baby. The deal is that the roomie is blatantly the asshole.
Damn it.
He actually writes, they have money troubles. The OP has money troubles.
Oh.
His roommate has pizza. And it really was that simple. He's so dumb.
Shit.
He actually...
Hilarious.
He told her thinking that it would be funny, and shocker, she got really mad.
Duh.
Top Reddit comment says, don't touch other people's food. It's a sign you don't respect their boundaries. I mean, come on, people.
Obviously, I do think, I gotta be honest, I think you won because didn't you get the first one?
Yeah, it was 1-1. You got one and I got one.
All right.
Oh, no, you didn't get the first. Did you
I
get
don't think I got
no,
either of them.
Yeah, I won. That's right. I won,
Woo.
everybody. I'm the new champion. Don't you forget it. I'll tell you guys what else. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Takes 1 second. It takes 1 second. That's what we're going with now. 1 literal
Just
second.
one.
Just one. I'm serious. I know how fast you are on your phone, Kimberly. Just get in there and rate us on the old iTunes. If you want more AITA Pod. If you want to support Sarah and I, we'd love to see you on the Patreon. We're doing the call-in show. We're very excited. We need a mere 5 more subscribers to start doing weekly bonus apps. That's a lot of AITA. You can subscribe over at patreon.com/ Become a Judge Judy at patreon.com/AITAPOD. But we got one heck of an ep for you today. Our second story of the day, AITA canceling my rental agreement and moving out when I found out my roommate is pregnant and expecting me to stay around. But first, AITA for leaving in an Uber after my engagement party. Whew. Guys, come on. That's citrus right there, people.
Oh my
Come
God.
on. My fiance and I got engaged a week ago. It was an absolute disaster.
Oh, shit.
I never wanted a party, but my fiance's mom insisted and wanted to have the engagement party at a restaurant that is expensive to me and made my fiance pull money out of his savings account that was for buying a house just so she could show herself off to her family.
What?
She, get ready for this, picked a restaurant of her choice. She invited her whole family while OP was only allowed to invite their mom and dad. She didn't even order meals until later because she was arguing about how her favorites weren't on the menu. Wow, so she was so picky she missed the
What the
initial
hell?
order. This is really this is an epic mother-in-law. She lied to my parents about food and said in her invitation, "Join us in celebrating Jake and Sarah's engagement with desserts and champagne only." Wow.
What the fuck?
She said no kids, but brought sister-in-law's kids with her. She sat in the middle next to my fiance, and they were both having a toast without me. I was feeling so uncomfortable and super pissed that I couldn't even hide it. My parents were the first to leave. They were upset. Can't blame them. It was awful. We were about to leave. My mother-in-law wanted us to give her a ride home because brother-in-law left with his cousin. My fiance said sure. Next thing I knew, she got into the passenger seat. Sister-in-law tagged along and stuffed her kids in the back where I was supposed to sit. I found this so damn inappropriate and humiliating. I asked my fiance if he was serious. I told him I belonged in the passenger seat, but mother-in-law said I was being disrespectful and refused to sit in the back and threw some comments at me. I lost it. I called Uber. My fiance lashed out and called me crazy and told me to get in the car because I was embarrassing him. We yelled at each other. He refused to leave. I got in my Uber as they watched and went to my parents, cried my eyes out and refused to answer my phone. To spare myself the shaming, it was awful. Awful, so awful that I regret not leaving early. I hate them all. They're treating me like trash and I've had it. I'm 24 and my fiance is 27. To clarify, she took some of our savings for a new house and spent it on the party. Yes, we got that. And 2, she sat in the passenger seat and wanted me to sit in the back. My fiance took her side and said I was embarrassing him. Yes, we got all that. Who
We
were the
got
Reddit
it.
commenters who didn't get it? We got it. We got it. AITA.
Good Lord. This mother-in-law is like a cartoon villain.
Mother-in-law, more like motherfucker-in-law.
Monster-in-law.
People.
Great movie.
Yeah, monster-in-law.
Anyway.
Oh, is that the movie? Yeah, I saw
With
someone
J-Lo
referencing
and
that.
Jane Fonda. A classic.
This is really, I mean, how many crimes can one person even commit?
So many life sentence.
This is
lady's
crazy.
so bad.
I mean, any one of these is almost just so, I mean, picking the restaurant even. I mean, it's their engagement party.
First of all, forcing them to have it in the first place, picking the restaurant, making
No.
them pay for it.
I don't know. Well, making them pay for it, yes. But forcing them to have it, I'm okay with. I think moms like these things.
Okay, I guess you're right, but like in tandem with everything else.
Of course.
It's
No,
bad.
the holistic picture here is Armageddon. I mean,
Yeah.
but I don't fault her for wanting the party. Look, Sarah, let her have one single point. If she insisted on having a party because she's a mom and she wants to engage, fine. That's fine.
Right, that's fine. But then you throw it. But like, pay for it.
Exactly. Forcing them to pay, picking a restaurant of her choice, inviting her whole family while I was only allowed to invite mom and dad. I mean, it's just madness. Missing the meal orders because she's mad about her favorites not on the menu. I mean, this is just madness.
insane. And then the fiance, I mean, come on. It's so I was ready to be like, I don't know, like, oh, you gotta, establish some hard boundaries with the mother-in-law. But then once we got to the fiance's take on it, I'm like, get out.
Right. I mean, I think all I can say is that we just did a similar situation on a bonus app with a mother that was out of control. So I see here an extremely toxic family system. I don't necessarily blame the fiance. Clearly, the fiance is under mom's kind of finger.
I mean, I blame him because it's like he's participating. I mean, it's not like I blame him and I think he's a monster, and I can understand nuance, and I get that he's probably like, grown up with this toxic woman and maybe doesn't know much else, but I mean, I feel like I could still blame him in a sense where it's like you clearly took your mother's side after she's a monster to your soon-to-be wife.
Well, she would have wigged out. That's the thing.
But that's
she's
the whole.
she's a controlling
that's kind
monster.
of the thing. I'm told it's like with a relationship, it's like you're supposed to stick up for your significant other, and he didn't, and they're about to get married.
I guess you're right, because now that I'm thinking about the bonus situation, the problem was that it was the SO coming at mommy, and this would be, you know, the offspring coming at mommy. So that's
exactly. You have the onus to like stand up to your own family.
You do. Kyrie E just commented a gif of Will Smith screaming "run." I believe it was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I'm very stupid about pop culture. Nina M writes, YTA, I think you should bow down to everything your mother-in-law says and does. After all, she is the saint who gave birth to your prince. Further, you should never again have an opinion. When the grandchildren arrive, you need to listen to what she tells you. Remember, you are merely a temporary warehouse for the offspring of her offspring.
Yeah.
And lastly, draw yourself a chart of the hierarchy of the family dynamic. It's not really important who is above you, as long as you draw yourself at the very bottom of the chart. Good luck.
Yeah, it's funny because when you were reading the story, I was like, this woman is a tyrant.
She really is. I mean, I love this comment because I thought this was a very funny line.
It is
Draw
hilarious.
yourself at the bottom of the chart, you know, because it really is just showing how this works. And, you know, a controlling mother-in-law is, well, it's a nightmare. I mean, this is something else here. I don't even know. This is like...
This is a big old
nuclear.
yikes.
This is Chernobyl of mother-in-laws, but...
Bad. I want to know her side. I'm like, what? How could she possibly justify this?
You can't talk to this woman because you'll enter in her reality distortion field.
Good point.
To rob a quote about Steve Jobs, they said Steve Jobs had a reality distortion field because he was a huge narcissist and monster. Anyway, but not a mother-in-law, interestingly enough.
Not
you might
a
think, but he
mother-in-law.
actually was not. Well, in a way he was. He was sort of the mother of the computers,
Oh my
if you
God.
will. Anyways, Ben M writes, NTA and GTFO. I enjoyed
Retweet.
that. A little wordplay. It's fun. Emma N says, NTA, and you might want to reconsider marrying into this shit show of a family. I don't know if there's any way that she could stay into this. I mean, he would have to completely own it, and, like, I don't see that happening. He's going to, you know, oh, well, my mom, you know, she is. And
that's going to be what happens for the rest of your life. It's, oh, my God, please don't spend your life this way every time the mother-in-law does something increasingly vile. Oh, just, you know, that's how she is.
Yeah, seriously. You know, it's a tough thing to straddle, I think, because, you know, people do have shitty family members and it's their family, and it's a thing that has to be straddled. But if you're not on the same page as a couple, and there's no way that these people are going on the same page.
No.
And the level of involvement is high, which it clearly is, and you gotta GTFO. Ben hit the nail on the head. Jacqueline C writes, NTA, it's time to move forward without him and the whole ball and chain that is his family. Now, this was the closest I could find to a dissenting comment. This is kind of interesting. Tom K writes, elders go in the front. I don't think you should have had a tantrum over where you sit in a car. The rest of the stuff I get, being pissed, but not the car. Is that a thing? You gotta let the old people in the front of the car? I feel like that.
I kind of feel like if you're old, you don't want to be like clambering into the back seat. So
Right.
I actually do sort of get that. I mean, this is so obviously not about the seat. It was
Right.
the culmination of her treatment the whole time. So I don't know, to this toxic family, I can see why they're like, oh, but you're throwing a tantrum about a seat. I don't get it. You're overreacting.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, the proverbial straw that broke the Uber's seatbelt, you know?
Indeed. Yes, old Uber.
Yes, ye old Uber. So I think that, yeah, the holistic picture here, I mean, there was slight after slight after slight. Can we call out some of the slights? Like, oh, is it really that big of a deal that she, you know, her favorites were off the... No, but it's the holistic picture that adds up here, and it adds up to basically a big FU to OP. Top Reddit comment, Nut Michelle writes, NTA, sounds like he's more interested in his relationship with his mother than you. I spent some time, Sarah, going through Reddit trying to find a YTA, even an ESA. Nothing.
There we go.
The people have spoken. There's really no question about this. AITA leaving in an Uber after my engagement party. We agree. Oh, I don't know if we agree on... Well, I'm ready to say NTA.
Obviously.
Well, no, but is it ESH because of him? Because the fiance also called her crazy.
That's not like ESH to me. ESH is both sides suck, not like the other people around you suck.
So, well, you're saying NTA
OP doesn't suck.
NTA and the boyfriend, the fiance, and the mother are.
Yeah.
You're completely right about the ESH definition.
I'm a big NTA and GTFO.
Here we go. Guys, please rate, review, and subscribe. It takes 1 second. 1 second. Well, okay, it doesn't take 1 second. I know I said that earlier. I was lying. I'm the asshole. But you get it. Please support the podcast. If you want more podcasts, patreon.com/AITAPOD. We put up a bonus episode every other week, and we'll do weekly ones if we get a mere 5 more members. We really appreciate your support. We have a rolling call-in show. You get it. I know you're... Danny, please. Enough. We get it, Danny. I'm on the Patreon, Danny. I don't need this ad. Can you make it so I don't have to hear the ad? I'm sorry. We don't have a way to do that. Well, I'm sick of it, okay? And there's traffic, and I'm driving. I'm taking my cat on a walk. That's right. I'm a cat. Well, okay, listener, I don't need to hear about your cat. Well, my cat loves walks, okay? So enough with the ad. Okay, the ad's over. AITA,
right.
Canceling my rental agreement and moving out when I found out my roommate is pregnant, expecting me to stay around. I like how Sarah's only reaction to that was just...
I mean, I was like, where do I start? Do I start with the I'm driving and also taking my cat for a walk at the same time?
No, it wasn't at the same time. They were driving somewhere to take their cat for a walk.
Oh, how could I have misinterpreted that very coherent narrative?
How could you misinterpret it, Sarah? I'm going to the beach. Listener, please. We're no longer in the breed for the Patreon. AITA, canceling my rental agreement and moving out when I found out my roommate is pregnant and expected me to stay around. I lived with 2 roommates, Lila and Brett. I'm 22 myself. Lila was 25 and Brett was 27. Lila and Brett became a couple a few months after living together, and we have all been living here for about 4 years now. I was living there for college, and they both have jobs in the city. Obviously, we have all grown into close friends since. Now, Lila told me her and Brett were trying for a child. They've been together for 1.5 years at that point. Oh my God.
Oh God.
And they've known each other for 2 years and they're engaged. So it makes sense. That makes sense. Wow, you are 22.
I wouldn't even try
OP.
for a dog. Okay, maybe a dog.
Right. I wished them luck and assumed it meant they would soon be finding a house together or something. So skip a few months and Lila reveals, dun dun dun, she's preggo. I congratulated her and Brett, and again we skip a few months where I asked them when they would be moving. Lila stated they would not be moving, to which I responded confused, saying that they should have told me so I could move out. This shocked her, and she said she wasn't expecting me to move and figured I would be like the cool aunt and help with the babysitting and bills since we were basically family now. Oh my God.
Oh boy.
I told her no. And the day after, canceled my rental agreement. Both Brett and Lila went into a panic as they can't afford the place on their own, and they begged me to come back. And multiple friends weighed in, calling me a huge asshole by pulling this on them. I've since gotten a new place, and I'm doing great. Meanwhile, I heard Brett and Lila had to move in with Lila's parents, and they're doing terrible. So I feel pretty shitty about it. AITA.
So the obvious, we'll get that out of the way. Brett and Lila obviously suck. Lila, whatever. For assuming that their friend would be a free babysitter.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. That's not how
obvious.
family works. That's so obvious. I mean, I'm just shocked. You know, it's 2020, and I think, I don't know how some people don't know, but like, we pushed everything back, guys. We really did. Like now, 30 is like a more, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but like, you got to be aware of the fact that most people are having kids later now. And the reason for that is good. It's because you make more money when you get older and you have more stability and you've kind of figured your shit out.
I mean, I think most people, at least where we live, I don't think everywhere that's true.
Well, I think on average. But yeah, no, you're totally right.
The average is skewing a little bit later, I guess.
Well, and I'm not coming for anyone who chooses to have kids young. There's people who, work their ass off in college and they have a good career and they didn't study philosophy at Arizona State like me, and they're good to go right away. Whatever, they work in finance or they're an engineer or they're a catwalker. You never know. And they're stable, and so they go for it. But like, I think why I don't like Brett and Lila also, because it's like they wrapped OP into their terrible plan where they depending on her financially and like emotionally and in terms of time. I mean, it's just insanity.
I mean, they I don't know, not bit off more they can chew, bounced a check or wrote a check they couldn't cash, or whatever euphemism we want to say, but
I think they bit off a check they couldn't cash.
There we go, or something. I mean, yeah, they like completely overplayed their hand. They were unprepared, and this is not like, oh, I was unprepared for my, I don't know, meeting or something like that. It's like,
Right.
oh no, this is a whole ass human life. That you just like didn't really, that you planned to not plan well for. Like I wouldn't have faulted them if this was like an accident, but it's like you were trying to have a kid that you also knew
Right.
that you needed a third person to like chip in a large way, and you never asked them.
No, it's beyond crazy and immature.
However, beyond immature. However, OP is also, the internalized unassertiveness is a little bit mind-boggling to me. That they never once were like, okay, cool, so what's your plan? Like, they said they skipped many months before even asking them, like,
Right.
what their plan was. And I just cannot believe that conversation that would have went down being like, hey, we're going to try for a kid. All right, cool. That's it?
Right. No questions about the future. No, she's just assuming they're going to. Yeah, I mean, in a way,
They
she
didn't
was
even ask
also.
when Lila revealed she was pregnant. She was like, "Oh, congrats!" And then she waits until she's a few more months pregnant.
Right. Yeah, no, that is kind of crazy. I don't know if it's asshole-ish. It's just it's a misstep.
It's it's like many repeated missteps out of, I don't know, avoiding confrontation or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's young. What she's 22. She's not necessarily thinking about the far future. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it was inept. I don't think it was asshole-ish at all. Chrissy D seems to think it was. She says ESH for not communicating. I mean, I guess the worst I can say about OP is that she does maybe put them in a bind. But
Like,
the
totally.
thing is, I know, but it's kind of like you made your own bind because you've got a child coming into the world and you made an insane assumption about your roommate,
Right.
and that they would be okay with a screaming baby.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you know how I am about parental responsibility.
No,
like,
I know. I mean, they made a huge, crazy assumption, but like OP also made assumptions that were pretty boneheaded, in my opinion, but not, mean.
Yes.
Or
And
like
that's-
they were not like, what's the word, like hugely presumptive,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
they were definitely boneheaded.
Yeah, absolutely. And T writes, unfortunate to do that to longtime friends, but not the asshole. That was a huge and unfair assumption they made. Tristan K, though, another ESH. You suck for assuming and not giving them notice. They suck for assuming you would be a babysitter and helping supply their child with a home with no discussion.
It kind of does suck that OP was not like, okay, well, here's my plan. I'm going to move out at the end of the month. It's like, oh, damn, the next day you were out.
You're right. I mean, and that might put them in a financial hard spot immediately. And it's not like the baby was born yet and actively bothering them.
Unless OP realized, like, oh, shit, this girl's giving birth next week. I got to be out of here. Like, what? Not that it's, like, OP's responsibility, but I don't know. These assumptions on both sides, that's why they say when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
Right, I have heard that before. I heard that from a dog barked that at me many years ago. Anyways,
A wise boy.
Jesse T writes, why would anyone in their right mind expect someone to live with a newborn baby, especially when they're in college and need peace and quiet? Why would you have a baby when you can't even afford your own place? NTA.
All valid questions.
The only charge we really have on OP is that she didn't give them sufficient notice, and given that they're in a financial hardship, a fuck ship, really.
Sure.
Is that a crime? I mean, I think she kind of flew off the handle. I don't hear her mentioning that the baby is born or that the baby's actively bothering her. I mean, I can see how creepy it would be to be like, well, you're going to be our baby's aunt. She's like, ma'am?
Yeah.
But I guess I kind of could go a soft ESH here because, it was weird.
I think it was obviously so. It's like, why did they assume that OP would be down to be cool aunt? But why did this person, like, I don't know. At the same time, I feel like they must have assumed that, oh, if OP didn't say anything for so long, knowing the plan, they must have been cool with at least living with a baby. But
Right.
like they took the ask so far, and that is, not, I'm not saying that they didn't. I'm just thinking if I were in this situation, if someone had told me that, like the second they told me that they were even thinking about it, I'd be like, okay, cool. Well, you can do that, but I'm not going to be any part of this. Like immediately.
Immediately, yeah. I mean, there would be a timeline set right there. Top Reddit comment, Irish Temper 98 writes, NTA, they made a decision to have a baby based on your financial and physical support without discussing it with you and getting your approval on these plans first. They're the assholes, not you. You owe them nothing other than what you have agreed to. And see, that is where I go, well, hold on a second. I'm pretty sure that, OP would have agreed to live with them at least until the baby is born. I don't think it's fair for her to be like, well, I didn't agree to live with a pregnant lady. Like, she agreed to live with them, so the fact that she bailed abruptly, I am starting to shift into ESH territory.
I mean, if we want to get technical about the terms of this lease that we don't know, it's like you did agree to live with them until a certain date.
Well, the terms of any lease. I mean, I don't think that's a far reach at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what they're doing is creepy and violated her boundaries, but like considering they're longtime friends and they're in a hard situation, I just think she could have been a little bit more sympathetic, or at least tried to bargain with them and tried to explain and be like, hey, I'll be here till the end of the month. I'll give you 30 days notice, whatever.
Yeah, I guess my issue is not really that OP should have. I mean, the thing is, it's very harsh to turn around and be like, all right, I'm out of here tomorrow. That's a big ouch.
Exactly.
Literally tomorrow. But
Exactly.
It's kind of nuclear. I guess I just take more issue with like OP literally not saying anything. One, when you heard that they were going to try for a kid. Two, before skipping a few months later until the woman is pregnant. Three, a few months after that.
Totally.
We're talking like 6 months here.
She was out to lunch and then she bailed instantly. Come on, this isn't everyone sucks here.
Yeah, I think OP sucks like in a different degree, but I feel like they both, kind of screwed the pooch on this one a little bit.
I think so. And I think we agree ultimately. AITA, canceling my rental agreement and moving out. We agree. Everyone sucks here. Guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Takes 1 second. Patreon.com/AITA pod. If you're walking cats, I hope it goes well. I'm fascinated every time I see a cat being walked. I think it's beautiful. It's one of the few amazing things left in this world. Now, it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show. Listener submissions. You love to hear it, people. AITA for being upset my boyfriend hides me on social media. My boyfriend doesn't post about me online. It never really bothered me when we first started dating because I assumed he's just one of those people that aren't into social media. I don't post that often either, other than stories on Instagram. Now it's starting to annoy me a bit. He posts a lot of stuff, statuses about his dog, family, friends, his ex-girlfriends. It seems like he's posting about everything in his life other than me, constantly trying to get laughs, likes from Facebook posts. We've been together for 2 years. When asking him what the deal was, he said, quote, I just don't post about my relationships, but it really seems he goes out of his way to not post about me. For example, we had an amazing New Year's Eve together and went to this big party where we barely knew anyone. We spent the whole night together and had an amazing time. Then, he posted a status about how he had an amazing New Year's Eve with his friends by his side, but it was literally basically just me. Am I being petty and ridiculous about this? He says I'm just being insecure and social media doesn't mean anything. To me, it seems he wants to be portrayed as single. I'm certain the majority of people that comment on his stuff have no idea he has a girlfriend. He says that it doesn't matter what people think. Help me out, AITA.
Oh, God. A big fat nope to all of this.
Yeah, I mean, I was really struck by a consistent pattern in the comments. I don't think I've really seen something like this for some time. I mean, everyone posted like, oh yeah, I had a similar thing. Yeah, he was cheating. Like,
are you serious? Holy shit.
Oh yeah, Gemma L writes, my ex was exactly like this, told me he didn't like plastering personal stuff all over social media. Then I found out he was cheating big time. Genevieve R, NTA, huge red flag. My sister's ex did this. He had a side relationship for years.
Fuck.
Rachel K, she writes about letting it slide and then learning, quote, he'd been cheating on me the whole time with multiple people. I mean, this is a, what's the color of blood? This is a crimson
Scarlet
flag.
move.
Scarlet flag. Scarlet letter.
I mean, my initial thought was like, whichever ex-girlfriend he's posting about is his current girlfriend or his wife. And unfortunately, OP, I think, is the side piece.
That rings with me. Absolutely. I mean, to delve into the ethics a bit, I think obviously, look, if this many people are saying like this is a thing and this is exactly what the thing means and this is as obvious as it seems, you know, I think it is an interesting question, though, the ethics of posting, and this is something I'm wrestling with. I think this is somewhat of an open and shut case here that obviously, well, is he the asshole for not posting? I guess that is kind of the question, Sarah. Because, you know, we know he's up to no good. The evidence points to that. But is this really asshole-ish to not post your SO?
Well, I mean, this is the problem with the AITA in general. It's like the post title in a vacuum is always something completely different than what the situation describes. So in a vacuum, no. I mean, we can both agree this situation is obviously he's the asshole.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, but go ahead.
What? How?
Well, I don't know that I agree that I think I could stick to the title and feel that that's enough. I think it is very odd when you are an active poster and you don't want to share your partner on social media.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
I can imagine like there's corner cases. Like I know, for instance, I've seen this, that like some women who are kind of public figures or like actresses, they don't necessarily want their SO up there. They want to present as single because, you know, there's some capital in being single. People, well, let's be honest, it's people think they can fuck you. And that can, you know, potentially lead. Well, it leads to leads. Unfortunately, I don't think that's good, but that's the way the world is. You know, so is that bad? Is that fucked up? I would say no. If you're kind of like not stressing that you're in a relationship, but to never post your SO or extremely infrequently post your SO and then be a frequent poster, I think that is hurtful.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this guy's like going out of his way, it seems like, to hide the fact that he has a girlfriend. And to me, it's like about being consistent. Because I think a lot of women would not mind and even like a guy who's not big on social media, but you can't. But it has to be consistent. This guy's not into social media. He just wants to obscure the fact that he's dating someone.
Yeah,
it's like,
no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Natasha P writes, have you met any of his family? Have you met any of his friends? If you have met them, this is not necessarily that serious, although it's a bit weird he will post about ex-girlfriends and not you.
I'm going to push back on that. I think it's a lot more than a bit weird. I think that's pretty disrespectful and also like a sign that you're not really the main girlfriend.
Right, because he could be controlling who he introduces you to. You never know the games he's playing.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, if you're going to post about other people that you've allegedly been in relationships with, then why won't you post about the one that you currently are in one with?
It's crazy. And he writes, I was going to say NAH, I'm PDA averse, and that includes mushy stuff on social media, but that New Year's post is really rude. So NTA. She says you should ask him why he wants to keep relationship-related things off social media when it seems like everything else is okay. There's a difference between not sharing something and actively hiding something. After 2 years, zero acknowledgement is weird.
Oof.
I would go farther. I would say after 2 years, that's called actively hiding something.
Agree. That's deliberate. And also, I don't think that at this point, I think we're past asking why. It's like we know what his response is going to be. We know his response is going to be to try to just gaslight her and convince her she's overreacting when she's not. So I think we're past that. I think we're GTFO status. Let him go be with his real main girlfriend or wife.
Totally. You know, I think this is an interesting issue to work through in a couple. You want, you know, a lot of ladies like it. They like to be posted. I mean, I'm wrestling with this because I'm concerned about hurting my ex, and I brought this up last episode, and my buddy Sean reached out and he said, post whatever the fuck you want. Block your ex. If her friends show her your stuff, that's not your problem nor your fault. You know, you got out of a situation, you were mature about it, and you deserve to brag about your feelings, referring to my girlfriend. So I'm like, you know, it's crazy because social media, well, it's sharing yourself with the world. Like, it has so many terrible other aspects of it, like thirst traps, etc. But you know, it is. It's how you kind of interact with the world, and that's kind of what it's evolved into. So when you don't share your partner, because like I had to talk about this with Hannah, and I was like, hey, this is kind of where I'm at. I feel like a dick, you know, posting. I don't want my ex to see this. And she was like, well, it kind of bothers me. And I was like, oh, God, what do I do? I'll talk about you on the pod. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, nothing that Sean says is wrong, and he's right, but it's like the fact remains that what I said last time is like that I think the reality is, unless your ex is like over everything already, in which case great, she probably will be hurt, but it's like up to you whether you want to weigh that or not, and like how much you want to weigh that.
Well, I do weigh it, and I guess what I sort of feel is, look, if it's just going to hurt her, can't I keep it on the podcast, keep it on the IRL, you know, and, you know, whatever, keep it on Twitter, because I know her friends will follow me on
you're
Twitter.
not keeping it a secret. Like, the info is out there.
It's out there. It's on Keith the Girl. Damn it, he broke it before me, that
I know,
guy.
right? Keith knew before I knew, but not really.
That's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a thing, and I think you got to weigh it, and you got to talk to your partner about it. I mean, this situation is also just that. It's like, how did this go on for 2 years? Have the conversation.
Yeah,
it's insane. The man's not posting about you. He's posting about his damn dog. What's going on? Think we agree on this one. AITA for being upset. My boyfriend hides me on social media. NTA, and the boyfriend is
NTA and GTFO.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. We love you. It's just such a joy. I love doing this podcast, Sarah. I feel like I am enriched. I feel like my life is enriched by it, and we couldn't do it without you, the listeners. So thanks, guys.
That is so true. Thank you, guys.
I don't know why I felt for a second I was going to be like, and this will be the final episode. I know
that felt like a series finale vibes.
No, I guess I don't know. I kind of reflect on it and what I do in comedy and stuff. And this pod has always just felt like meaningful in a way. And I just, it was so cool. We recorded one of the call-in shows before this, and I feel like connected, and I don't know. I feel good. So thank you guys. That's it.
Yay.
All right, guys. We will see you next Monday morning.
Bye.